All right. Welcome back to TSP. Today we are going to be discussing the son of the woman who is on the cover of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition, as if we want to see those nuderies that are all bunched up and dusty. Elon Musk. I guess his mom wants to be a sex symbol, and women want to sue him for sex proposition or something. Okay. Captain Paul, what do you know about this?
So, essentially, from what I have read from this article, is that she had a settlement with Elon Musk for $250,000. Allegedly, Elon Musk rubbed his erect Johnson
Member?
on her, and also wanted to get a massage. Have her give him a massage, and I believe it was like pay her by getting her a horse or something of that ilk. But yeah, some pretty damning accusations, and this apparent leak was not from the actual victim itself. It was from one of her friends. So
Oh, you gotta love that third party reporting.
Just absolutely delicious. So, title says it all. A SpaceX flight attendant said Elon Musk exposed himself and propositioned her for sex.
So she signed an NDA.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Okay. And that's standard with a lot of settlements. So they're trying to position this as if, there's some nefarious evil entity, of which they might be. But this is par for the course for all sorts of reasons. Anytime there's any kind of settlement or business agreement of some sort, an NDA is usually attached to it for a variety of reasons.
Well,
so we don't want to put out the insinuation that he is guilty because he paid a settlement. This is just normally what happens.
So, and this is the one thing I have to say too, is when someone agrees to a settlement, they're not saying they're guilty. And I think that's what people get twisted. Oh, well, he settled, so he has to be guilty. Someone like Elon Musk has billions of dollars. What would you rather do? Just give someone like a pittance to honestly, Elon Musk, that's something he probably has as a Sunday payroll. Yeah, here you go. Just like F off or whatever, right? Just he wants the story to go away. That's what a lot of these rich people will do. They'll just do settlements and have them sign NDAs, so there's no mudslinging and possible destruction of him on an international level, especially with a company like Tesla where their stocks could be affected.
Right, because we know that whether a man is guilty or innocent, he is going to be marked guilty, regardless.
Absolutely. In this society we currently live in the Me Too era, the woke liberal agendas that we live in now, you are guilty until proven innocent.
And even after being proven innocent, you're still guilty.
Exactly. So, but let's get right into the story, honestly.
Yeah. So we just want to lay that groundwork, and an NDA is not necessarily an admission of guilt. Mm-hmm. All right. So some of the notes here. A flight attendant for SpaceX, I didn't even know they had flight attendants, said Elon Musk asked her to, quote, do more during a massage, documents show. My thing is, why is she doing massaging anyways? Is she paid for that? That's weird. That's weird to me.
I'd have to assume that would have been a part of the job description.
Right. If massaging is part of the job description, that's one thing.
Yeah.
The billionaire founder exposed his penis to her and offered to buy her a horse, according to claims in a declaration.
I'm not trying to laugh at that, but that
shit is funny. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
That is like fucking ridiculous. You know what? Like, yo,
that is some medieval shit.
Yo, let me show you this. Let me show you this rod. I'll get you a nice fucking Clydesdale. Like what the fuck? That's weird. whatever.
So I'm always going to act with skepticism because I do not believe all women. I believe all evidence. And here is an accusation which anybody who's thinking about this reasonably can note that her allegations cannot be substantiated by evidence. It is basically her word versus his word.
Yeah. Because
she can't, unless she took a picture of his dick, there's no evidence that he exposed himself to her. And buying her a horse, did anybody hear this, or were these two people alone? Exactly. Which is another reason why I encourage men to stay out of areas where there are women, where other people cannot witness the interactions between that man and that woman. Because, and we've seen this in other situations where women will make an accusation and then another woman will come behind and say, no, that's actually not what happened because I was there. I don't think that it is smart. I don't think that it is safe in today's social environment for a man to be alone with a woman that is not a close relative or a romantic partner on some level where it is known to all parties and anybody else that knows them that they are intimately involved. I remember there was an article where in MSNBC.com where they tried to mock men who were in high positions at their company because they didn't want to mentor women alone in offices with the doors closed or go out to dinner the way that they would go out to dinner with a male counterpart for mentorship to help them move up the company ladder. And there, everybody kind of laughed these guys off like, oh, just don't be a creep. But the thing is, you cannot be a creep and still get an accusation because there's a financial incentive to accuse somebody of something that cannot be substantiated.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. That's why you need to protect yourself, especially in today's day and age. Do not put yourself in a situation like this where someone can essentially have this leverage to get money.
And they gave her $250,000 and they said, don't say anything. Now, I don't know if it was her that is making, this accusation or if it's a third party report. But regardless of who was reporting this, she was supposed to, it's non-disclosure, meaning do not disclose this to anybody.
Yep. So it seems interesting, right? SpaceX, the aerospace firm founded by Elon Musk, the world's wealthiest man, paid a flight attendant $250,000 to settle a sexual misconduct claim against Musk in 2018, Insider has learned. The attendant worked as a member of the cabin crew on a contract basis for SpaceX's corporate jet fleet. She accused Musk of exposing his erect penis to her, rubbing her leg without consent, and offering to buy her a horse in exchange for an erotic massage, according to interviews and documents obtained by Insider.
So let's look at this. Let's look at this for a second. Exposing. Is there any way that she can have proof of that short of taking a picture of it?
No.
Rubbing her leg without consent. Is there any proof that she can offer that her leg was rubbed at all?
Nope.
Okay. So I'm not saying that Elon didn't do these things, but we need to be sure that he did these things if we are going to accept her story that he actually did these things.
And I'll be honest with you, is all of this is unverifiable. And like you said, making this clear, I'm not saying Elon Musk didn't do this, but I'm also saying I'm just not sure. Honestly, because you can't, unless there's video evidence that we're not seeing. And if there's video evidence that comes out that he did do that, okay, we can have an actual real discussion and about how people can overuse their power. But at the same time, some of the timing of this coming out, especially with just the whole Twitter stuff recently, it seems like more of a political hit piece, in my opinion. But
yeah, that's what it seems like to me. So the incident, which took place in 2016, is alleged in a declaration. I'm declaring that my friend, blah, blah, blah. Who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
In a declaration, oh man, what a pompous word, signed by a friend of the attendant, prepared in support of her claim. The details in the story are drawn from the declaration, as well as other documents, including email correspondence and other records shared with insider by the friend.
Okay, so
now, does this woman not know what an NDA is?
No, and this is the problem, is that, and I mean this because someone who's dealt with NDAs like myself, I don't think people understand the ramifications of breaking an NDA. I know we want to live in this world where contracts mean shit. Shout out Joe Budden, but at the same point, like when you put your name on a contract, you are supposed to go by the terms of that contract. And that's just very peculiar. Like, you have someone that signs an NDA, and then their friend's like, well, I have all this. They're spreading a bunch of information. You know, depending on the terminology of that NDA, that her friend or quote-unquote friend could essentially make her lose that $250,000. Because the reason why you sign a settlement is so you don't deal with the public outcry of this. Or
the fact that you know that the claims, it's impossible for the claims to be substantiated.
Yep.
Right? Elon Musk is one of the more intelligent people on the planet, would you say?
Yeah.
I think that he understands just as much as we do that there really is no defense against what the accusations are. Because if you say, I didn't do this, people are going to say, well, a woman accused you, so yes, you did.
Well, and this is the problem, is we even saw it in a case, right? Like that famous one now, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Before all this, like, it's funny, she incriminated herself. Before all this evidence came out from the case where Amber Heard shows herself recording where she just looks terrible, people thought Johnny Depp was a DV
perpetrator. Yeah.
So let's not, like, you know, people like, well, look, Johnny, because I've seen that with some people, like, oh, well, like, he's gonna be a new era. Like, no, like, to be fair, Johnny has pretty privilege, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
He's rich. And then, you know, so people gave him a little bit more.
But that privilege did nothing for him until the recordings came out.
Exactly. So
if Johnny Depp can't get pat, you know, without, you know, because he was making accusations too, but nobody was listening to him until she admitted that she was lying on tape.
Well, listen, he had the tip of his finger severed off. And
now in court, they're trying to say that he just cut his finger off himself.
Yeah, I know, it's wild. But I think, like, for me, you know, when you have cases like that show, like, men in this country are guilty until proven innocent. And that is not how this justice system is supposed to work. You know, there's a lot of men that are accused of things that are just completely untrue. Now, we here on this podcast aren't saying those men that do those acts should be given a free pass.
Not at all.
We should condemn them, shout them down, put them underneath
as long as they actually did what they're being accused of doing.
Exactly. They need to be verified claims. This is the thing. I don't think I'm going out on a limb by saying this, Evil. Me and you are about evidence first. You bring me information. You bring me evidence so I can kind of deduce what happened. And if you're guilty, you're guilty. But if you're not guilty, you're not guilty. So let's stop having this Me Too bullshit where men, just for going on a date, can be accused of, like, the most foul accusations, and then their lives are ruined. You have had young men in college get thrown out of college,
thrown into prison.
They've never even had relations or even a date with a girl.
Yeah.
It happened in UCLA. Young college student, I think it was a sophomore, gets thrown out of the college on that accusation. And guess what, Evil? Guess what happened? He never went on a single date with her. But her accusations...
Remember the college football player that did 6 years in prison because of a false EPAR claim.
Yep.
And after 6 years of his life was taken from him, which were the prime years of his football playing career to maybe one day make it as a professional football player. All of that destroyed, millions of dollars potentially lost, 6 years of his freedom lost. And of course, he went in there as someone who was convicted of EPAR. So we don't know what kind of assaults that he suffered in prison during that time. And when she came out and revealed that she was lying, guess what happened? She kept all the money from the lawsuit that she got from the university. She kept all the money that she got from her book deal. Yep. What did he get? He got
Nothing.
I'm sorry. What happened to her? Nothing.
Oh, and that is the problem with this, is that when you have false accusations like that go forward, like the case that we talk about, it ruins men's lives, and also there's nothing that happens to the perpetrators that start this false narrative. But getting back to Musk, right? Well, in this situation, for me personally, the timing of this is suspicious. This man is just trying to acquire Twitter. It is being found out that Twitter has been essentially, they have a bot problem on Twitter where there's like tons and tons of fake accounts, and they're following that. They're also seeing a narrative where you're seeing a lot more inflation with numbers and how people were mysteriously banned, right? Like a lot of left accounts are losing a lot of followers, and a lot of right wing are adding a lot. You know, there's a lot of reporting going on that. But outside of that, Twitter's had a problem because he bought it for $44 billion, but he bought that because he thought the population account of Twitter was a certain amount. And
right.
He found out that's not necessarily true, and that Twitter knew about this. So it is very interesting to me that you're having all this stuff coming out because Elon has talked politically about a few things, and it just seems like he has a target on his back. So what's the best thing you can do? This is honestly the political handbook from both sides. Well, what can we do? Someone's kind of raising their voice, someone with power. Oh, an essay charge. That will make the people demonize him.
Check this out.
It happens.
So check this out, right? After Insider contacted Musk for comment, he emailed to ask for more time to respond and said there is, quote, a lot more to this story, end quote. And then he goes on to say, if I were inclined to engage in SH, this is unlikely to be the first time in my entire 30-year career that it comes to light. So that brings me to another point about him specifically, okay? Has Elon Musk been connected to very high-profile women, including the aforementioned Amber Heard? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Does he strike you as a guy who is very smooth and forward with women? Does he seem like socially calibrated enough to you where he would? So when I think about his personality and I think of this quote, I'm inclined to believe him because it's like, well, where are all the other accusers?
Yeah. I agree. No, I don't see it from what we've seen, at least publicly, and just from how he has gone about his business. He seems like more of that awkward, nerdy guy.
Well, he's on the spectrum, according to, I think he's on the spectrum.
To himself, he's on the spectrum. So,
yeah.
You know, I just, like, it is very fishy, and it wouldn't be outside of the political handbook to kind of have this damning accusation out there to make him look worse. Especially when you had a Twitter board freaking crying hysterically about him buying the platform.
Right. And the funny thing is, right?
Out the window.
And here's the funny thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is likely that he didn't know much about this allegation until probably now, because she went to HR. She went to SpaceX's HR, and their lawyers probably said, you know what? There's really, in this environment, there is zero defense against a woman making a claim that's unsubstantiated. Mm-hmm. So if she'll accept $250,000, which is probably what she was after anyway, if she's after this $250,000, and we think about how much it's going to cost us just in legal fees to lose, not on any legal doctrine, but just off the fact of hashtag believe all women. Mm-hmm. In a his word versus her word, he's going to lose 100% of the time.
Yep.
Unless he's, recording, video and audio recording everything. We're going to make the smart business move and give her the $250,000 because $250,000 changes her life. It don't do shit for us.
No.
So that's kind of the way that I read this. Now we got to play devil's advocate too, right? Mm-hmm. So on the flip side of this, we can make the claim that a man can do something that he knows cannot be substantiated by evidence and then cross a boundary with a woman and then make the claim that I didn't do this. Because if I just touch her leg over her skirt, I don't grab her leg, I don't leave any marks, right? Mm-hmm. If I offer her a horse out of earshot of anybody else, who is she going to go to where she's going to be necessarily believed unsubstantiated? How can she substantiate that claim? Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
It does. I just think that, like I said, we'll play devil's advocate here. I feel like if you felt like that happened, right, and you felt kind of like overpowered, because let's be fair, Elon Musk has how much money?
He's the richest man in the world on paper.
And this employee has how much money? You know what I mean? It's not
probably
even
not a whole lot.
Because if you're going to go to court with somebody, lawyer fee, right? Elon could literally probably, spend that money like it's nothing, but can that person that's trying to, claim that they were assaulted No, absolutely not. So I want more information to come out. I want, if there is any. The problem is, like you said, unless there's video, this is all hearsay. You can't really prove this unless there was someone that saw it in the cabin. It's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Like nothing of this is going to come. But the one thing is this: it's going to be interesting to see how that NDA was termed and the language within that contract, because
and when those emails went back and forth between her and her friend.
Exactly, because this could be pretty fucking damning.
Right. And the thing is,
could lose out.
Right. It could be damning on the woman's end. And, I understand a woman, being in a situation that she thinks is questionable and talking to her girlfriend about it. You know what I mean? Like, I get that. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people who have signed NDAs told their spouse about it. They didn't say, hey, I can't talk about it, NDA. Mm-hmm. They probably talked to their spouse about it.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's entirely unreasonable. But for this woman to go out there making declarations, to what end? Like, what are you getting out of this? Because that woman might think that she, is standing up or going to try to procure more money for her friend, and she might get a kickback. I don't know what's on this woman's mind. But just like you said, if the only thing that comes out of this legally is that it is found out that a woman broke a non-disclosure agreement and is now subject to legal action being taken against her. What did you do for her?
You destroyed her, essentially.
She's not going to be able to pay that money back. You already know she went on shopping sprees.
Absolutely, bro. Like,
you already know this.
It's just absolutely, it's foolishness in my opinion. If you're going to break an NDA, and if hopefully the terms, depends on when the messages were sent, depends on when the contract was signed, also depends on the language within the contract, because some NDAs aren't as airtight. But I'm assuming someone like Musk, rich as hell, has some pretty damn good lawyers to make sure that's a contract that's
and here's another thing too, man, because again, I don't want to say that it's a guarantee he didn't do this, but look at the goddamn timing. This is 2018.
Yep.
Well, I want to make sure that I got this right.
Yes, it's about 2018.
I know it was settled in 2018.
But 2016, I think, was.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say. It was settled in 2018.
Why is this coming out now? Right? If this happened in 2016, 2018, it was settled. Why is it coming out now? And
I wasn't thinking of it on that end, but that is that's a decent question to ask, I think.
We both know the reasons. So,
actually, I don't know. I mean, your theory is a sound one based on prior art. We've seen a lot of men who go to make a big move, immediately have somebody try to come and destroy them with an SA or SH allegation. We've seen this happen to singers. I think it most recently happened to Chris Brown, who is an asshole. He is a DV perpetrator, and that's been proven. But then I think he was about to release a new single or a new album earlier this year, and some chick comes out of the woodwork lying about an SA thing that didn't happen and was proven to not have happened. You saw Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer, signs at the time the richest contract in MLB history for annual per average annual value. And now you're starting to see these women who he had consensual relationships with saying, well, never mind the fact that we had a BDSM dynamic. I can use this to enrich myself to make it look like abuse.
So, no, and I can see where you're coming from there. But listen, I think we've said what we've had to say, but I would be interested to hear what our audience thinks down below in the comment section. Because this is very interesting times. I think the timing is very peculiar, but we love to know what your thoughts are down below. And if you have survived this long through the video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Helps us out. We're just a hair under 250 subscribers, looking to continually grow. Anything you also have to add there, Evil?
Yeah, share this around and have some discussions with your friends. We put a lot out here in this video that normally you would not hear from other media outlets. We're giving a possible side of the story from the male perspective. Tell us what you think about the points that we brought up, hopefully in good faith. And until next time, see you in the next episode.